Hello everyone and welcome to Mangrove Music. My name is Jake and this is the Extreme Reverb. This amp is packed to the brim with features, and if you're looking for an amp that can do any genre or gig, I'd wager that the Extreme Reverb might be the one for you. So what actually is the Extreme Reverb? Well, it is a 50 watt all tube amplifier powered by 6 L6s and comes as a head or a 1x12 or a 2x12. It has an effects loop, a boost circuit, and reverb built into it. It comes with a 6-way foot switch that allows you to switch the channels and turn the effects loop, the reverb, and the boost on and off. It also features switchable power output, so you can go from standby to 10 watt to 30 watt to the full 50 watt mode. So you can change the level of headroom that you have depending on the gig or the studio or your bedroom. Recently, I reviewed Ratajczyk Extreme Reverb, which is an amp that I already own, and in that video I mentioned that I would have a great interest in reviewing an Extreme Reverb. Now, I sent that video to Ratajczyk, also known as BJ Amplifiers here in Queensland, and they liked the video and liked how I presented the amp, so they offered for me to borrow this one to make a video on and have a bit of fun with in the process. Full disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by Ratajczyk to make this video, nor am I affiliated with them. I'm just a big fan of their amps, and any opinions in this video are my own, and I have not been dictated to sway them any way, shape or form. So all verdicts on this amp and recommendations are of my own merit. If I didn't like this amp, I would tell you. But spoiler alert, I think this amp's absolutely incredible, worth every cent, and I'm going to be showing you why throughout the course of this video. So stay tuned. So I'm well aware that this is a combo sitting on the desk beside me, but I'm going to be running it as if it was a amp head today into my Torpedo Captor X running a 2x12 greenback emulation. I'm doing this because the speaker that's currently loaded into this is not the one that you typically get if you purchase the combo. The speaker that currently is in this, for curiosity's sake, is a Jensen P12N Alnico that Ratajczyk happened to get their hands on and decided to throw into one for fun. So after I'm done with this will go back to the shop and will be available for purchase with that special speaker in it. So if you want specifically that one, be sure to get in quick when this video comes out. So the combos come loaded with Jensen speakers, and as with all Ratajczyk amplifiers, you get to pick the color of the Tolex as well as the grill and the piping to make it feel a bit more unique to you. Now, the one that I've got today is black. If I was to buy one, I'd probably have a head in green Tolex with black grill and white piping because I love green just as much as I love purple. And I don't really see too many green amps out there, so I want one. So in terms of guitar and other gear that we're using in the video today, I'll be running my Les Paul and my Tele for the guitar side of things, and I'll also be throwing some pedals out the front, namely distortion, fuzz and overdrive. In the effects loop I will also be running some delay and a chorus to show you how that operates. And before we get stuck into all the sound examples, I'll just run you through the controls really quickly. So from the left to the right, on the front here you have your bright and normal inputs. These are identical, but the bright has more top end straight out of the gate if you need some more treble on your guitar signal. You then have the controls for the clean channel. This has a volume and 3-band all to itself. You've got your 2 overdrive channels. They both have dedicated volume and gain controls, but they share a 3-band EQ. The 3-band EQ is quite powerful in these two channels, very useful for getting a lot of tones out of there. Then we have our master volume and our boost volume, as well as our power selection stage here being standby 10 watt, 30 watt and the full 50 watt modes. On the back of the amp you have your power switch, you have where your foot switch plugs in, you also have a manual channel selector switch if you're not running the foot switch, you also have a presence knob, and you have the amount of reverb. Additionally, you also have the effects send and return, as well as your various speaker output options ranging from 4 ohms to 16 ohms. So if you're running this as a head or you're running the combo into a bigger cab, there's bound to be an option that works for you there. So let's get stuck into some sound examples, shall we? Clean channel is designed to be as natural of a response to your guitar that the amp can provide. You've got basic 1 volume and 3-band EQ to shape your tone from there. It's just a super clean channel that doesn't really break up even if you dime it. And this is also the channel that I will be running all of my pedals into if I was a guy that got all their sound from there. Lots of headroom, so if you're one to stack gain, it's going to really take that very well. But on its own, the channel also sounds just wonderful clean. So the overdrive channels are very similar, but there definitely is a reason as to why there is 2 of them. Overdrive 1 is classic crunch. It is great at doing low gain, and it's also really good at going up there to that really driven crunch sound. Every classic rock sound is basically in this channel. Overdrive 2 is voiced a bit thicker and it's got a bit more gain on tap, so it's really good for lead playing or heavier playing, and it can go from pretty crunchy to proper high gain saturation, especially if you throw an overdrive on the front of it. So the EQ section in the overdrive channels is placed post gain, so any tweaks to them are very sensitive, and that means that you can get a lot of versatility out of these 2 channels alone, especially paired with the odd pedal or 2. I don't think there is a sound out there that you probably couldn't capture or at least emulate very closely with this amp. So before I move on to pedals, I just want to touch quickly on the boost and the presence controls. So the boost is accessible via the foot switch. You can turn it on and off, and it's literally just a second master volume, but voiced to be louder than the current setting of the volume. Really great, just clean volume boost, nothing too crazy there. It's available on all channels. Really awesome for if you don't use a boost pedal or you're not the type of player to use pedals, but you need to get a quick volume boost to do a solo or something in a band. Great feature to have. I wish more amps had it built into it. So the presence knob is something I always love to see in an amplifier because it allows you to get this top end bite and sizzle that you just really can't get by diming the treble control. Normally, because from my understanding, it's actually flavoring the power amp side of the tone. So it's usually post everything else, one final top end boost. Very usable in a lot of situations and a great feature to see on an amp. And speaking of the foot switch as well, from the boost side of things, the foot switch comes with the amp. It has 6 functions. It allows you to pick which channel you're using, allows you to turn the boost on and off, allows you to turn the reverb on and off, and allows you to turn the effects loop on and off. Very useful, really long cable as well, so no matter what stage or room you're playing in, I guarantee you can have the thing at your feet. It's always worth plugging in. You can't control all of the amp without it, but it's definitely easier with the foot switch. So I'm going to throw some pedals at the amp now. You're going to hear some distortion sounds from fuzz, distortion, and overdrive, as well as some stuff in the effects loop. So I mentioned in my previous video that I'm generally a fan of single channel amps as well as stuff that doesn't have a lot of controls because I'm a man of simplicity and I like to set and forget. However, I could make an exception for the Extreme Reverb. This amp is nothing short of phenomenal. I want one and I will unabashedly admit that on camera. It's just a mind-blowingly good amp in my opinion. It has all the features that I would ever want in an amplifier, and I think if you're a gigging musician or a hobbyist or a session musician, this amp has something for you and it is well worth the investment. The Extreme Reverb still manages to keep things simple even given its more complex control scheme versus the Cream Reverb, and I do appreciate that. There are an entire career's worth of sounds in this amp, and I would wager that any professional session musician would be inclined to agree with the sheer versatility that is on tap here. As far as build quality goes, it's Ratajczyk, so it's honestly the best thing you've ever played in terms of quality. It will last a lifetime, as well as the fact that if you buy it, you have access to the people who built it and can get all your servicing and questions answered by those very hands that built the amp. So yes, from my personal experience, when you buy a Ratajczyk amp, not a dollar goes to waste, and they are definitely worth every cent that they charge for these works of art, honestly. Overall, I'm a huge fan of this amp. I will own one myself one day. I mark my words, I will own one. I will still find this very hard to give it back after I'm done with it. I'm a massive fan of this amplifier, and I thank Ratajczyk for letting me borrow it so I can show the people how it sounds, because there's no sound examples online that I can find, up to date at least, about this amp, and more people need to know about it. So there you have it, the Extreme Reverb. I think this amp's a 10 out of 10. I think everyone and their dog should own one, and I think that Ratajczyk deserves to have a bit more recognition than they currently do. Now, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment what you think of the amp, and if you're a builder of Australian gear, please feel free to get in contact with me if you'd like to see something that you make demoed on this channel. I just want to build a platform that documents all of the cool stuff being made here in Australia, because there is apparently a lot of it. You just need to go looking for it. As always, my name's Jake, this is Mangrove Music. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.